G'day folks, we're back on another wee hiking expedition. Today we found ourselves on the outskirts of Pitlochry, one of my favourite areas, and we're just leaving Benvrackie car park, so that should give you an idea of what mountain we're going to be climbing today. But there is going to be a slight twist. I'm going to combine this mountain climb with an overnight camp, and we're going to be coming back on another very popular route, which is the Beac trail, coming back into Pitlochry. So we'll get out of this forest section and we'll catch up again. So it's a relatively steep climb coming out of Pitlochry if you're coming from the town centre. It's about 1.5 miles to get to the car park, unless you're bringing a vehicle in. But all the way along that section, it's a quiet road leading past a golf course, and there are plenty of areas, benches where you can just sit down and have a rest and look over the beautiful views. So today's climb up to Benvrackie, you know, there and back again, you know, you're just over 6 miles. So 4.5 to 5 hours I reckon to do this. Now we are obviously intending to do the Beac trail, so that's probably about another 6 miles onto it, as we're going to sort of take a wee detour past Pitlochry before coming back down by the riverside into Pitlochry. So even here I'm just leaving the woodside. You can see Benvrackie right in front of you. Well, it's still got snow on the top of it. Quite prominent, it offers great views of the surrounding area. So I'll take an opportunity to have a wee seat on the bench there, looking back over Pitlochry and down onto the River Tummel. Now the path has a junction here. Now we're going to be taking the upward path obviously towards the mountainside, but if I was to take the upward path to my left hand side, that would take us onto the Beac trail, and we're going to pick up that trail tomorrow after we come down off Benvrackie. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a catch up since the last time I was out. Now that actually was, for you the viewers, that would have been the West Highland Way. That was about a month ago. And I've had a lot of positive feedback from doing them couple of videos, and also got a lot of subscribers, which is really nice. And it was good interacting with different people who are planning to do that trail, and also sharing their own experiences. Now, I didn't want to leave it too long before going out and doing something else, and the plan was, well, I did do it. I went up to Tyndrum to do a couple of Munros, Ben Oss and another one. Now the weather forecast, as it is so many times, looked okay. Wind levels weren't strong, a little bit of light rain, nothing major for what I was expecting. Unfortunately, when I got to do these Munros, even before leaving the glen, not even on the approach to the Munros or to getting towards the base, there was just heavy clag. And even though it was quite hard going underfoot, with quite a lot of snowfall, there just wasn't anything really to show from doing it. So I think it's better for me to go back there in better weather conditions and do at least them 2 Munros, possibly do 4 Munros in the circuit, including Ben Louis. I think we'll get more out of that. So I've just got myself pitched up just before you get to the lock side, and this area is like a small oasis. Did look around some other areas near about, but they're just far too saturated to get a pitch. But we're going to make our ascent to the top. There has been a lot of clag, but there are spells where we're getting nice clear views, so I'm going to risk it and try and go up now. So here we are at the summit of Benvrackie at 842 metres. Oh, it's a bit windy for getting the drone up, but I will pan the camera around so you can have a good look. Unfortunately, the clag did clear for us coming up, so our efforts are paid off. Oh, this is absolutely stunning up here. Tad windy, but hey ho, you kind of expect it when you're on top of the mountain. So just in front of me you can see the Benvrackie mountain range, and amongst the whirl heavy clouds there, if we were lucky we'd actually see Schiehallion in the far distance, but if you look at the hamlet down below, that is Killiecrankie, and that's where we're going to be heading for tomorrow. So I'm just back down by the lock side, and just before you start the path or the ascent, you'll actually see this bench, and it's just perfectly placed. Yeah, this has been a grand day. I got up this morning, had quite a bad headache, and I was just like really quite tired, and I thought so easy just to stay in, you know, but I decided to come out, and I'm glad I did, because I would have regretted if I hadn't. And anytime you take that easy option, you know, that's a lost opportunity. That's the way I look at it. So what we'll do, we'll catch up tomorrow as we head into Killiecrankie. For you it'll be a shake of a lamb's tail. For me it's going to be hopefully a nice peaceful evening. So I was off to a very dreek start this morning, picking off from yesterday by that bench area. You've got a junction just as you walk past it. Obviously one path will lead you up the mountainside towards Benvrackie, and the other path leads you off to the left hand side. It takes you around the northern section of the loch. Now we're going to be travelling along this path as we head down into Killiecrankie, and though the wind might not be excessively strong, it is a sharp wind, so I'll be glad to actually get down into the forest line. So once you get to this marker point and you start to actually rise, this is still the Beac path as you go up. Now eventually it will connect another path that will lead down into Killiecrankie, but there is actually a more direct route to get down onto that path, so avoiding the elevation. So you've got a little bit of bashing to do. It is a path, you can actually see it as you get a bit further along. I love finding these disused paths. There's Benvrackie, covered in clag. I wonder at one point whether this was actually the main path before they built the new one. So we're back on the main Beac path, and you can see the weather has turned. According to the weather forecast, there was actually meant to be a spell from 10 o'clock onwards. It was meant to be a beautiful sunshine for at least about an hour, 2 hours. I feel like I've been lied to. But as I was coming across that path, that's probably one of the largest herd of deer that I've actually seen. So it was really nice to capture something like that on the footage. The path that we're going on to now, as we get towards maybe the lower section, can be quite boggy, but it's a very clear track or path. So we'll pick up as we head into Killiecrankie. So we just arrived at the Killiecrankie Visitor Centre, and this gives us really nice views looking down onto the river, and likewise it's a place that you can have a wee stop, get a nice coffee. They do lots of fresh bakery goods, so I highly recommend you coming to this wee hidden gem. And from here the path is immediately to my left hand side as we head down. So we're just going to take a small detour off the main path and go to Soldier's Leap, which is will not take us long to get there. So we're just a minute off the main path, if that. When you're up in the Visitor Centre, you can read a lot of information about the Battle of Killiecrankie. This was the first pitched battle in the Jacobite uprising, or the first Jacobite uprising to be exact. Now the battlefield itself is literally about a quarter of a mile away from here. There's not too much to see other than a couple of flags representing the two armies that are present. So after the battle, the government forces were beaten. One of the soldiers who was fleeing from the Highlanders is reported to have jumped over the waterfall, which is quite an amazing feat. But then again, if I had a hairy arse Highlander chasing after me who was fully intent of probably taking my head, I might be capable of doing wondrous things myself. So what I'll do is I'll try and get the drone down there and see if we can have a bit of a closer look. So before the Battle of Killiecrankie took place, as you come along this river section on this old military road, the parliamentary forces that were coming up here were ambushed by the Jacobites. And this is the first recorded account of troops firing from the forest line, and obviously the first casualties of the start of that war. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the drone back up again. Hopefully you got some good footage of Soldier's Leap. I'm just going to show you this most spectacular area. So we're fortunate going along this trail. There's a lot of recorded history, and you can just see the stone which marks this area where this general was shot. However, most places in Scotland do not have such nice markers, and much of that history has been forgotten to time. So we're just following the River Garry, and the sun has finally come up a couple of hours later than it was originally scheduled for, but I'll take it. Now the area they're walking through is very popular with bird watchers, and likewise, as you've probably maybe seen, it's also used for adventure sports. So you can do bungee jumping from the bridge up ahead, which I've shown you, and they also do zip lines as well. So the River Garry will soon be entered into the River Tummel. As you come along this section, you would have seen the nice sort of pebbled shore area, very popular with families to go there. I would say one thing, just a a note of warning, though the river might seem like it's quite placid, there are actually some very dangerous rip currents, and there is a hydroelectric plant along this section. So we finish up this little adventure at Loch Viscally. Now today started off with rain, and it seems fitting that we should finish with it as well. Now this has been a mixture of two trails, so don't be scared to mix it up, make a wee cocktail if you wish. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, give it a wee thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, please do so. What I'll do is I'll leave a description for the two trails that we've done down below.